Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's sneak peek webinar, Big Ideas for Not So Big Markets. I thank you for dialing in. I'm going to ask you to hold for just a minute while we wait for a few stragglers to join our call. If you're just joining us, I want to make sure to welcome you all to today's sneak peek webinar for the 2017 NAA Student Housing Conference sneak peek webinar, Big Ideas for Not So Big Market. In just 1 month, the 2017 NAA Student Housing Conference and Exposition will convene at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, February 14th and 15th. This event is the best way for your team to tap into vital industry know-how and discover the latest, greatest products and solutions. Add in a city with major appeal and you've got a top-notch trip that will pay dividends all year long. For full details on the program and how to register, please go to shce-naa.naahq.org. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panel. Emily Austin, National Marketing and Leasing Director at Lincoln Student Housing, has over 12 years of experience in the property management industry. Emily currently oversees Lincoln Student Living's corporate and on-site marketing efforts, while also aiding in building and presenting custom training curriculum for LSL's national portfolio. The invaluable experience of holding all on-site operational positions has led Emily to her passion for training and marketing in student housing. Margaret Osborne is president of White Hot Marketing, a strategic marketing agency founded in 2009. Margaret is a business and marketing professional with more than 25 years of experience in the corporate and agency sectors. White House Marketing meets the business needs of multifamily housing clients by providing services including market studies, brand development, lease-up strategy and campaign development, website development, advertising, customer relations, and media relations. Amy Matusek, Vice President of Catalyst, brings over 20 years of experience in operations, account leadership, sales, interactive, and marketing to her role as Vice President at Catalyst. Jamie guides the company's team of experts to grow client portfolios, expand into new market verticals, and strengthen existing client relationships. Jamie has been instrumental in establishing key business practices, restructuring team processes, and developing marketing strategies that positively drive the client's bottom line. And Jessica Nix, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Leasing at Campus Life and Style, has more than 18 years of experience in student housing. Before joining the CLS team, Ms. Nix ran her own company, J. Nix Consulting, where she provided executive strategies for marketing and community positioning, market analysis, and student-centric leasing plans. I should mention that Jamie Matusek will not be on the webinar today, but she will be joining the conversation in Chicago. Jessica is a co-presenter today, as well as serving as moderator for the webinar. So I'll turn the conversation over to you, Jessica. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Let's make sure that there we go. Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We are so excited to see you guys in Chicago. I wanted to start off, before we jumped into the big ideas for smaller markets, let you know that, but wait, there's more. Just because you're with us today listening to some of the ideas that we have thought up does not mean that this is all you're going to get. The plan for our session in Chicago, which will be on Wednesday the 15th from 3 to 4 p.m., is for us to have an interactive session. We're going to have text polling where you can compare your answers against the survey. We're going to have excerpts and facts presented from a survey that we have given to university and college officials representing small and medium markets, and we have so much more content. Today we're barely going to scratch the surface of 3 of our 10 topics. So again, this is to give you a little taste, but there's so much more you can get in Chicago at our session, let alone the total of 16 different sessions that you can learn from. So we're going to jump right into it. And Margaret, can you take it from here and talk to us about what is a Tier 2 and a Tier 3 school?
You bet. Thank you so much. So for the purposes of our presentation today and in Chicago, if you want to go ahead and move to the next slide, Jessica, is the smaller market colleges and universities. So our definition, Tier 1, for the flagship residential universities and colleges. Most of them, as you know, have on-campus residential as well as quite an array of purpose-built student housing. We are focusing on Tier 2 and Tier 3, which we have defined as regional universities as well as colleges in mid-market communities, often non-residential, sometimes residential, but very little purpose-built student housing. And then also focusing on junior and community colleges, many of which do not have or are just starting to think about getting purpose-built student housing as a way to drive admissions. So in the next slide, I just want to quickly talk about why housing really does matter in all tiers. We actually have a white paper we're going to make available at the session if you attend in Chicago that talks a lot more about this and gives a lot more background. But it's our experience that larger schools, especially in Tier 1 markets, they're increasingly setting limits for in-state student admissions, and they're really encouraging their students to attend regional campuses. As well, just the students' desire to focus on a technical degree or maybe use a junior college as an entry point to college. Maybe they're paying their own way, or maybe they just want a less costly college option. It's also driving enrollment at these Tier 2 and 3 schools. But it's also our experience that students still want the total college experience, and that is what we believe purpose-built student housing provides. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jessica, who's going to talk to you about working in smaller markets and some things to keep in mind.
Thank you. So as we talk today and during our session in Chicago, one of the things to keep in mind is that it's not that every idea is completely unique and can't be used in the larger market, or we can't learn from larger markets. It's really having perspective of the nuances of what the mindset of these colleges, these smaller colleges and universities, what they are. So before you ever create a flyer, ever create your marketing plan, you need to do your homework, more so than a market that is sophisticated. They get it, buy-to-bed housing, old news, no problem. They already have a drill. You want to be at a football game? Well, let me propose to you this big old packet of sponsorship options for you. It's a different ballgame when you get into these smaller markets. So usually you can research online, you can talk around to different administrators, but understand the goals, understand the values, and the priorities of the university. You need to speak their language. And if you are going to be successful partnering with these universities or having a scratch your back, scratch my back situation, you need to understand, are they, trying to become a residential college? Are they trying to transition from 2-year to 4-year? What is their master plan? What are their goals, so that you know then how to position yourself to help them? Prioritize the university first. This goes really across the board for any college or university, but particularly for these smaller, medium markets. they aren't used to having everybody knocking on their door, and they need to trust you if they're going to have open ears and reciprocate with whatever you're trying to work out with the university. So it may take time. So you're going to have to show them efforts of goodwill. You have to continue to go back. You just can't give up, but they may be more hesitant because, this is, the sophistication that you find in larger markets. This is all somewhat their first rodeo, or purpose-built housing, or even housing at all is still uncharted territory for some of these campuses. A way to also, I guess, put the university at ease is really showing them that you have their interests in mind. Mirror what you see going on campus. If the student affairs has particular programs, or if they do have residential life, and these are the types of programs that they do in their dorms or residence halls, you want to mirror a lot of that activity in your own space to, again, validate that you have their students' best interest in mind, and here's how you can stretch their initiative even farther so that it can access and reach those kids that are either in private or off-campus housing. And then this is no different than what we do every day when we're trying to figure out how in the world are we going to get those kids to live with us. They are thinking, how in the world are we going to get those kids to enroll with us? So research who are their top competitors at this middle market range. Do they either go to this university or that university, and what are the pros and cons? Literally, what's the SWOT analysis, so that you can help leverage what you bring to the table, either in amenities, housing, service, etc. Help them have a competitive edge and get more students from their competition. And then, again, how can you need to present it in a way that it's not all about you. It's about the college or university and what your product, your housing can do for them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hop into some of our big ideas for these smaller markets, and we'll get started with Emily Austin.
Thanks, Jessica. So I'm going to piggyback off of what Jessica was just talking about when it comes to campus relations at these Tier 2 and Tier 3 schools. A lot of these interactions are going to be different and more intimate and lacking structure when you first start them than you would have at one of those bigger schools. So with orientations, for example, a lot of times you just get your name on a list, submit a form, turn in your check, and you're ready to roll. Where in a smaller school, a lot of times you've got to establish those relationships and go in person early and identify what the needs would be. Really appeal to this department and, of course, appealing to the admissions as well. Go in, have your research done, know the dates, know the agenda, and know that oftentimes you're looking at maybe a low budget or small staff for that event. So identify those needs and then come to the table with some solutions for that. Offer your assistance, whether it's in the form of sponsoring meals, donating welcome bags, providing transportation if that's something you can do. We can always offer manpower, and then you can also offer to host off-campus socials at your community. The students and the department obviously will benefit from that, but spell it out how they will. Save money, free food, free swag, and it enhances the program overall. So kind of how to do that: show up on time, bring extra goodies for the staff, stay late, clean up, and really make sure that you deliver on everything we said we would, and then some. And then make sure you follow up with a thank you to keep that conversation going, to keep your community at the forefront of their mind for the next opportunity that could come. Another opportunity on campus would be study halls and tutoring. The next slide there. We're really appealing to the academics here. So with the Tier 2 and Tier 3 universities, oftentimes you're looking at limited hours, limited space. And so we want to identify those needs and meet with the people that are in charge of these things and come to the table with what we can provide them, whether it be our study spaces and your amenities, even a vacant apartment or your model unit. Many times we can provide free printing, Wi-Fi in our communities, and we can always have access to snacks and coffee. So again, the students benefit, the universities benefit, they save money, it offers extended hours to these students, and it provides a comfortable and supportive space for their education. How to make this happen? Have your staff on hand. Help it feel organized and guided. Put good luck notes up on the board and on the door. Make sure they have access to your Wi-Fi information. Pre-stock these rooms with supplies. Provide branded promo items like notebooks and pens, gum packs, things like that. Snacks, again, are always a win, but show up in the middle of a study lab and bring a pop-up pizza party and really help encourage them, empower through that time. Another way to reach campus relations is going to be through the arts. Smaller campuses typically have smaller departments for these things, and so we want to reach out to them and appeal to their design aesthetics, the department itself, as well as performance. Jessica, thank you. So keep in mind that you're probably looking at low attendance, low exposure. Oftentimes they have limited space or reach and can only perform in the space that they're provided at the school. So we want to identify those needs, listen to any other possible ones, and then go in there with a solution for that. Simply offer event promotion through your social media and at your community. It doesn't cost you a thing, and they, of course, would benefit from it, and your students will benefit from it too. Offer to host events to showcase the artist and offer your amenities, creative spaces, or even just your walls as a gallery for these students. Again, the department benefits, these artists benefit, and your students will benefit, and the student body benefits as well. Consider art programs, dance programs, photography, theater, music, all of those. It's going to help them engage the other students in their programs. It draws attention to the department, so everyone benefits. And it's a real-world display setting that you can offer them that they may not have just at campus. And again, those extended hours and being an extension of those campus with your amenities. We recommend hosting resident events that can help feature these artists, whether it's a stand-up comedy or an improv night, talent shows, open mic nights, and you can partner with a local business for food or even hosting it. Dance lessons we've done, and having them bring their art and put it on the walls as a permanent fixture. We've done that at several communities, and it brightens the community as well as showcase that artist. Karaoke, sing-alongs, things like that that can be a great extension and an extra stage for these artists. Create a gallery in your community and host a gala for the artist. Also, athletics is another place that we can approach for those campus relations. In Tier 2 and 3 athletic programs, you're dealing with typically, again, low exposure, and it's sometimes hard to get the students to engage and attend the game. So we want to appeal to the department itself, the actual athletes, as well as the student body. Go in knowing the sports programs that your campus offers and identify their needs, and keep in mind low budgets possibly and low student engagement. Free opportunity, again, event promotion for them, and really just kind of blast it out there for them. But sponsor or host tailgates pre-game. Offer group housing to the students. The coaches love this, and we have them bring the athletes or the recruits over as part of their campus tour, so they see where all where the other athletes may be living, and it keeps the coaches close at hand, the athletes close at hand, and the students love interacting with them as well. Feed the teams. Food will get you everywhere, and feed the coaches, whether it's a pre-travel for a game or bringing them to a VIP open house at your community. We can provide entry prizes at the games to help encourage attendance. Sponsor halftime events. We've done that before. Giveaways, just shooting your T-shirts out into to the audience that are co-branded between you and the school. Even hosting an Olympic-type event to feature the athletes at your community and have the students have that access and to race them or do a basketball shoot-off using your different amenities. And the last thing I wanted to approach today was the student groups and student orgs. Again, appealing to the campus life and the social needs of the students. So go in knowing what the organization's focus is. Keep in mind that they're typically in need of sponsors, and they're always wanting branded swag. So how we can help them with that is is to offer co-branded promo items. We can volunteer for their philanthropy efforts. We can offer group housings, because oftentimes in Tier 2 and 3 schools, they don't have a dedicated Greek house, for example, but they still crave that sense of community. So we can offer that at our communities as well. Oftentimes they're having regular meetings and they need somewhere to do that or to host a fundraiser. These are all problems that we can help solve. Offer your amenity spaces, and then when doing that, host a grand event. Bring in local catering, give goodie bags to take home with your promo items for everyone that attended. Decorate that space in their colors, put their letters up, and things like that. And if they're looking for a more permanent home, become that for them. Put their letters on their buildings or on their doors. Paint the hallways, hang their group photos, and even dedicate a study space or a meeting room for them. Either reserve that for their time on a regular weekly basis, or go all out, deck it out for them in their colors and make it their space and give them limited key fob access. So those are some of the ideas I have for campus relations. I'm going to pass it on to Jessica for recruiting.
Thank you very much. So we were able to choose our own topic, and I jumped at recruiting because I literally, one of my favorite kind of victories in student housing was helping a 2-year school in Barnesville, Georgia. They were introducing, it was, purpose-built by the bed housing was coming to the market, and it was the first time they'd seen anything like it. And it was a tough sell. A lot of times with these commuter or smaller, medium-sized markets, your top competition is is them living at home. So not only do they not understand purpose-built, you're trying to justify that they should pay $350, $500, $600, and your competition is mom and dad, which essentially costs them nothing. So it's a hard sell sometimes. You really have to educate and drive that value of you only go to college once and make the most of your opportunity. So I found, I was trying to turn over every stone. Like, how can I fast forward this educational process because I need the beds to be filled now? And, when you're trying to figure it out and you're turning over every stone, I ended up working or, running across the recruiting department, and they actually gave me like 5 minutes of their time. And I was explaining who I was, and they were explaining, what they do. And, there is a real opportunity there, even if some universities are going to be much more guarded. But there's an opportunity there to, number one, partner with the recruiting team and educate them. They don't understand by-the-bed housing. They don't sell that. They sell the university. They don't necessarily know right off the bat of what benefit your private off-campus or privatized housing brings to them. So you need to educate them, convince them, and get them bought in. And then even more so is, how can they position what you bring to the table to help them recruit more students to their university, which is their number one objective. So I know we talk a lot about, in student housing, about admissions, and we talk a lot about financial aid and the housing department, the international department, but the recruiters, they're the ones on the front line that get ahead of these students before anybody else. So make it an initiative, make it a priority to partner with them, and you'll go far. It's a great advantage. So some of the different things that you can do with the recruiting group. Understand is in smaller markets with fewer enrolled students, you're going to have smaller budgets. It's just the way the world works. So augment their budget. You have a marketing budget, especially if you're year one, maybe you have a deeper pockets from a new construction, maybe not. But what can you do? And I think that, Emily was talking about this with campus organizations. You can co-brand some swag that they can take to high schools, they can take to college days, anywhere that they go to target incoming enrolled students. Maybe that's a little too much.Maybe they're standoffish, and so show some goodwill. Say, hey, listen, I have it in my budget. What I'd like to do is sponsor and get you 500, pins or promotional items just with your logo on it, as a gesture of our partnership. We want to help you drive more students to this university because obviously we want to partner and have them live with us. Oops, sorry, these are touchy buttons. offer a lifestyle opportunity. So here to me is one of the biggest opportunities in any of these smaller markets, even if they have smaller two-story walk-up conventional opportunities of places to live that maybe historically the students have always gone because there weren't other options. Maybe you do have some purpose-built, but maybe not a lot. But unique to these smaller markets is they don't have the infrastructure that you might find at the University of Georgia or any other flagship university that's going to have check the box for, well, there's the downtown strip where you've got the restaurants and the cute little boutiques. Oh, here's the area that you want to go on date night where they have the nicer restaurants. I'm not saying that, you know, these schools are out in the middle of nowhere and they have nothing, but they don't have the collegiate infrastructure that you're going to find at larger schools. So your assets, your amenities, your programming all become a destination. It all becomes kind of trying to recreate using what you have to work with your housing and your space, recreate some of the opportunities, the social and culture opportunities that they could have gotten at a larger school. And that's what they want. They want this legitimate experience. So to the pictures about putting the housing, the amenities, the programming, and your service in the forefront of their pitch so that now the kids say, hey, I don't have to pay that tuition. I don't have to go to that school to reap the benefits. I can actually enjoy this right here at this school. And then finally, when recruiting or partnering, understand what their goals are. A lot of times they're focused on growing enrollment, retaining their students, having a diversified enrollment base and international students, housing, nice housing, modern housing, all of that can help them recruit those kids. So I would like to pass this off to Margaret now so she can talk.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about community relations, and these are just the 4 key stakeholders that we're talking about today. It's just community relations is such a fabulous way, fabulous opportunity to build champions for student department communities in smaller markets. It's a lot, I'm not going to say it's easier, but I think there's a lot more opportunity maybe to build buzz and build relationships. In smaller markets that maybe aren't so used to so many people wanting to get in front of their students. So first I'm going to talk about colleges and universities, and Emily already covered this, the campus relations very well. But if you want to move to the next slide, I'm just going to offer you one example of an opportunity that we brought about at larger Tier 1 or D1 schools. It's much harder to break through to be seen as a partner. You're more like another vendor. Sure, I'll pay you $15,000 for the opportunity to be seen on campus. At smaller schools, they often don't have those kinds of sponsorship programs already in place. It's really a new thing to them. So you often have all kinds of opportunity just to create your own win-win opportunities. We already talked about partnering with admissions and marketing, admissions, recruiting, athletics. This is Keller Community College is in Battle Creek, Michigan, and we were working on lease up for a property right across the street from the community college. It was an existing property that had been condemned for quite a while, and our client thought it was an awesome opportunity to renovate into purpose-built housing. Because it had been condemned for so long, it was prone to a lot of vagrancy and maybe some safety issues. And when we talked to the college about, you know, being a champion for student housing, their number one concern was that their students were going to be safe. So the school has a criminal justice program, and we went and talked to the head of that program and came up with a safety program co-authored by the school to make sure that our residents were going to remain safe. Were well educated, and that we had done what we needed to do in the community in terms of lighting, barriers to entry, things like that, to maybe keep people that were using the area for something they should and ought to keep them out. So in addition to that, we created a community safety position, much like if you had a community or a brand ambassador who lived in your development for percentage off of rent. We had safety officers who performed a similar function, except they took a checklist around the community and they did their rounds. The next slide, we've already talked about how important athletics are, being on campus with a table, doing promotions on campus. So one of the differences between Tier 2 and 3 schools is that from Tier 1, many of them actually do have athletic programs. Now, they're very much abbreviated to D1 or Tier 1 schools, but they do have them. However, they have much tighter restrictions on financial assistance that the school can provide to the student athletes. So they're very open, at least in our experience, ADs are very open to you coming up with ways to make their athletes happy. And of course, the common theme is always food, feed them, just feed them. In one instance at a community college that had about 40 athletes going to school, majority of them did not have transportation. So they were very interested in being able to live across from campus. Student athletes seem to find, however they need to get to practice, they will get there. But if it comes to coming to class and it's snowing a little or it's raining, then they don't go to class and then they don't graduate, and you understand the cycle. So this is another reason why we have found regional, junior, and typically commuter colleges very open to speaking to us about student housing. Next, businesses. Chamber of Commerce, that's usually one of the first things on everybody's list, is to join the Chamber of Commerce and start supporting them as a member. This is super important. If you want to move on, Jessica, to the next slide. Super important in smaller communities because it's just a much tighter community. Everybody knows everybody. In one particular community, the executive director introduced us to the head of the local Air Force base. It's the largest Air Force base in the country. Every new recruit to the Air Force attends training here, and they're constantly in need of new housing. And in developing a relationship with them, it could account for 25% of unit leases on a new 500-bed development for our clients. And next, also with businesses, obviously doing what you can to show you're truly a partner in the community, showing that you're really invested in and you want to help grow the economic health of the community. Just two quick examples. Our brand ambassadors attended a Best of event in a small town, met an area vet who was super eager to provide discounted services and daycare to our residents' pets. And then one town had a small mom and pop, small popcorn place, just launched their business and was looking for a way to really grow their business. And they donate all kinds of stuff to one of our communities in a small market. Okay, organizations. A small market, think about the fact everybody knows everybody, so word of mouth is just totally invaluable to you in small markets. This is just one example. This is, again, is Battle Creek, Michigan. But the Community Foundation, they manage the College Access Network, and therefore they already have relationships with area high schools. And instead of us trying to go out and build those new relationships with all of those high schools, think about the drain on your resources, We worked with them and just worked with them to augment our marketing efforts. They have the tools and the credibility in place, and they were more than willing to do that, again, because it is their mission to get more students to attend school, especially junior colleges there in South Central Michigan. Next, this again is Battle Creek, Michigan, but this is a picture of the community when my client bought it. Don't think that we didn't question why in the world he wanted to buy this, but it's certainly working out better than ever, as the banner on the side of the building shows you. Some of the ways that we helped to really build the reputation and build buzz for our community is making friends with the municipality, really trying to work with the City Planning Commission on being a partner with them. That is a 25-foot banner on the side of that building, which absolutely was not within their code, but they allowed us to do it. One, because it, brought attention to the fact that this $6 million renovation was happening, which was wonderful for us because this community and that banner literally faces the college. We also met with a neighborhood planning council, which represents this area of town, and there were ministers, civic leaders, neighborhood leaders, 20 diverse community advocates on this community, and after just one meeting with them, they really became our champions and helped spread the word across the community. And then finally, just community relations, being out in the community at large. Again, this is Battle Creek. As I said, this is where Kellogg Corporation is headquartered. In these small communities, it is so easier to make a big impact. So go ahead and do something crazy, get outside the box to get noticed and really start a buzz. So Battle Creek, Michigan has an annual cereal festival where they have the world's longest breakfast table in downtown Battle Creek. And people really do eat cereal at the table. The different mascots for different cereals, like Sugar Smacks, Dig 'em, I mean, they're all there. So we went with it and we created an annex cereal. Cereal is actually our client's logo. And then created a couple boxes and wore them around this festival where there were about 10,000 people, and people were just loving it. It was a big success for us. And then lastly, smaller communities, again, making a big impact, do some guerrilla stuff, really capitalize on current trends. We chose to do Pokemon Go. We were just driving through town at night, and we noticed hundreds and hundreds of people downtown Battle Creek walking around trying to catch their Pokemon characters. So we took our brand ambassadors, created avatars for them, put our brand ambassadors all in costume. We had one Pikachu costume, and then the others were in like onesies and just had on the crazy hats and everything. Just totally went with it. And in 3 hours, we distributed over 500 Pokemon Go cards. And on the flip side was an invitation to an open house a couple of weekends later. And again, we just built huge buzz and saw a lot of success with this as well.
Fantastic. So we've run over a little bit, but I see that people have hung out with us, which is a really good sign. I want to really thank Emily, Margaret, and Jessica for the information you shared today. It's really practical and actionable. I think it's really useful. I hope that attendees got a lot out of it. Remember that this is only just one of 16 sessions that will happen in Chicago at the 2017 NAA Student Housing Conference. If you missed anything today, don't worry about it. This webinar has been recorded, and it will be posted to the event website. You'll also receive a follow-up email with a link to the recording, so that you can have access to all the information that was shared today. If you haven't already, be sure to register for the event using the link on the slide or by searching the brand new NAA website. If you haven't seen the new website, go check it out. New and improved, much better, I believe. And that's it for this afternoon. We really look forward to seeing you all in Chicago. Thank you all so very, very much. Have a great day.